all want to be the perfect family. But who's perfect, right? Animated films have long given families an ideal to stride toward. Warm hugs, cheerful sing-alongs, the talking pup who's always ready to help the plot along. This family...
Mitchell family on three. Three.
Mitchell family.
Two.
Sorry. Not so much.
I hope it does a contemporary family justice. There was just such a cool style to it.
We're not trying to make something that feels formulaic.
California College of Film would love to accept Katie Mitchell to film school.
I'll watch these animated movies and it's like, I love you, honey.
I love you all so much.
Butterfly formation.
And this is just the disaster I've been...
Yeah.
And I was like, my dad's a crazy person. And this is just the disaster I've been waiting for.
You've been waiting for a disaster?
It's very surprising.
Just some of the things that we were trying to do had never been done before.
Like, are we allowed to do this? Is this gonna be okay?
Remember our survival training. Yankee, Alpha, Foxtrot, Bravo, Tango, Alpha, Alpha, Alpha.
If you think it, try it.
Yeah.
You want to put a puppet in it? Somebody go home over the weekend and, like, make a puppet and use sporks for hands.
I think the Mitchells are all of us. They're struggling with family and technology. It makes you look at your own smartphone in a different way. Be nice to your smartphone.
With groundbreaking visual style, the first LGBTQ lead character in an animated movie, and a bunch of first-time filmmakers?
Oh, dang it!
How on earth did this movie get made?
Okay, everyone smile.
And go on to become the best-reviewed animated film of the past year? Well, when the Academy Award-winning producers of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse match their breakthrough technology with a heartwarming story about family, the result is unlike anything ever seen before.
We are here to break the shaders, to trash the pipeline,
We want you to never forget.
to please be unreasonable.
Unreasonable!
This is the unreasonable story behind the Mitchells versus the Machines.
Hi, my name is Mike Miranda. I'm the writer and director of The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Basically, Sony approached me and they were like, hey, do you have any movie ideas?
Behold, cinema.
I tried to take the things that I love the most, which is my crazy family, and the thing I loved the most when I was a little child, which is killer robots, and combine them into a super movie.
The Mitchells versus the Machines is about a family that's just trying to survive a cross-country road trip, until they're also trying to survive the robot apocalypse.
Rick is the past and his daughter is the future. And
Yeah.
the movie is about those two things coming together.
You know, you can experience things a whole lot better without that camera.
This is how I experience things.
Hey, there we go. Okay. Hey, we're on. Sideways. Like in the movie, my dad and I had sort of like worked through these conflicts.
What's the face?
Well, I just wonder, do you really think you can make a living with this stuff?
What did you think when I first told you I was going to make a movie inspired by you?
I wasn't surprised because that is kind of your shtick.
Every parent's dream, I'm sure.
I think they thought the whole time when I was making the movie, they're like, is this thing gonna get made? I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, it's not gonna be in a movie. Were you worried about how you'd be portrayed?
He had no idea about your feelings.
Yeah.
Why is he like this?
Were you guys scared that I wouldn't make it at certain points?
There was
No.
concern.
I never.
I had concern.
We play constantly in our house. Spider-Verse came out, and that was basically like this blank check, which just ripped the doors off, and it was like, go! Make it crazier! No. Get out of here! Yes!
When I met Mike, I was just sort of blown away by the script and the grand plans for the animation style.
We watched the movie in its very earliest form, and we were absolutely struck by both how funny it was and also how sweet and emotional and heartwarming it was, which are things that you don't often see both of.
And you just felt the creative
energy and enthusiasm and buoyancy. And it reminded us of when we were making Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and how excited we were. We were just like, can we get there?
Really?
And buoyancy. And it reminded us of when we were making Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and how excited we were. We were just like, can we get there?
And they would stay up all night, write a new scene, come up with something that was even crazier and funnier and better than we ever would have thought of.
We literally have thousands of pages of material.
Sorry, come again?
Thousands of pages of material. You must be super proud.
Off they went toward their dream destination. A totally unique animated apocalypse comedy for the whole family. And with that, the filmmaking process was underway.
We were trying to be really real and observational about families and getting into these specifics instead of having the characters be more general.
Everyone bring your personalized number 3 Robertson Ed non-slip screwdriver.
How could I forget? My anniversary present.
The Mitchell family is really...
And buoyancy. And it reminded us where we were just like, can we get there?
And they would stay up all night, write a new scene, come up with something that was even crazier and funnier and better than we ever would have thought of.
We literally have thousands of pages of material.
Sorry, come again?
Thousands of pages of material. You must be super...
Katie Mitchell is this uber creative teenager, and she's going to film school. I poured everything I had into getting into film school in LA.
Rick Mitchell is the bumbling father of the Mitchell family. His heart is in the right place, but he's trying desperately to keep his family together in the midst of an apocalypse.
Linda Mitchell, hold on tight, sweetie. Mommy's got you. Is the mother, the matriarch, the peacekeeper of the Mitchell family.
I am not as nice as Linda.
Let's just put a pin in that one.
The clothing was very similar to how I am. But I find that if I don't explode out my emotions and get them all out of my head, that's when it fills up.
I am Linda Mitchell, mother of 2. Look upon me in fear!
I loved the idea of being a bit of a baddie. How? The cell phone lady? Don't say something stupid like, oh, the power of love. Every actor's dream is being the baddie. And I love the story. I love the family coming together.
Ironic, considering her character tries to destroy humanity.
The cast is pretty incredible.
One of your favorite comedic actors is in this film. Yeah, it's probably me. But if it's not me, there's somebody else you love. John Legend is in it.
Great eyesight, honey.
Did he bring his EGOT?
With the whole cast, we really lucked out. I don't know what secrets or blackmailable information we have on them, but...
We got the most dirt on Danny.
Every single person on the cast was down for improv. They were incredibly funny.
The minute I saw some of the animation and talked to Mike, it was clear to me that I was talking to a deeply thoughtful, talented artist who was making something really special.
I always loved things that showed families that look like mine because we're all imperfect, so I wanted to do that.
Nothing yet. Be on the lookout.
Don't worry, guys. I have pterodactyl vision.
That's why the characters are all drawn like wobbly lines, and Rick has like weird broomsticks for legs.
Yeah, we were really inspired by a woman named Lindsay Oliveras, whose art Mike had found on the internet.
So they DM'd her.
In 2015, Mike Rianda reached out to me to do some character design work for the movie, and I started working on the project then.
And that's how Lindsay went from internet sensation to a first-time production designer. Next up, make Katie the heart of the film.
I've always felt a little different than everyone else.
This movie isn't just about a bratty kid trying to escape her parents. It's also about a parent trying to reconnect with his daughter.
Katie, come on.
Throughout the movie, we want to represent real people that we knew and loved. Whether that is our own sort of dysfunctional family or this like father-daughter relationship that we've like observed in life, or whether it's like LGBTQ plus people that we know and love in our lives.
This is the first like studio animated protagonist to be gay in a movie, and it's like a big deal in some ways, but it shouldn't feel like one.
Sounds reasonable to me.
After all these years, I'm finally gonna meet my people. I'm queer. I came into my queerness pretty late in life, and I feel like if I had seen a film like this with this kind of character, I mean, I don't even know what impact that would have had on me. It's pretty powerful.
I gotta admit, this is actually amazing.
We really wanted to keep pushing her, that she felt very obviously like a creative person. She has a t-shirt that she's drawn on herself, she's drawn on her hands. We experimented with this idea of, is she drawing faces on her hands so she can kind of puppeteer them? She's drawing faces on the ripped holes in her jeans.
One thing I love about her, the way she looks at the world, is that she sees all the imperfections and that she loves them. And that love is in every single one of her drawings.
Animation in this drawing style is about caricature. It's not about representing reality to the pixel.
Like I often would talk about the look of the human world in this film as like what you would crop out of an Instagram photo. So instead of trying to present the family as perfect, it was really like presenting them as they've got, you know, a little extra mess in the kitchen, all of those like real things of life.
This movie had all of this like detail and specificity, like half-drunk 2-liter bottles of Shasta.
That family is made of like all of these oblong bits that we just turned up the volume on that stuff. And we erased all the stuff that was kind of normal and average.
Yeah, and then pretty. We're like, could it be uglier?
Her personal aesthetic became the aesthetic of this movie. It feels like one of her drawings and paintings with some of her doodles on top of it.
Well, not
Her drawings, her personal aesthetic became the aesthetic of this movie. It feels like one of her drawings and paintings with some of her doodles on top of it.
Well, not all of it does.
Like you always wanted the movie to have two different aesthetic styles that were kind of fighting each other.
Easier said than done.
The computers, the adversaries, and the robots and the phone pal in the movie, everything is rectilinear and everything is square in the architecture.
We felt like it would be really important to feel like you're rooting for the humans visually. The human hand is very felt. You're seeing a lot of natural line work, imperfections in that. The lines aren't straight.
The human world was like earth tones, the robot world is like bold, crazy colors.
Your whole idea was like, I want to chop and screw everything. I want to like have it feel as fresh as when you think of your first thing. Yeah. And so we were like, great. All we have to do is now do it.
That said, creating a pioneering animated feature should be simple when you're led by a whole team of industry veterans, right?
I was a first-time production designer, character designer for a feature. Our head of story was first time. Mike Miranda's first time directing a feature.
But while it could have been like,
I have no idea what I'm doing!
it was actually like,
We're making memories here, baby!
That spirit of a person who's discovering and falling in love with film for the first time, we wanted to try to inject that in the movie as much as we could.
And so you get like 500 like super skilled technicians and crew members and filmmakers who learn how to make movies in a whole new way. Don't freak out.
We had puppets given to us in the storyboards, and then we would actually just record puppets against the green screen. This is possible for the movie, but there were times that some of the flaws in pieces of green paper that we actually really liked. Here, our director Mike Miranda is puppeteering it. Because it's funny with puppets, you also have to get like the acting and animation right.
The animation style, it feels really new. There's stuff that I haven't seen in other films.
but everyone already said that about Spider-Verse, and the same producers made this film. It's not like they had to reinvent the wheel, right?
And in that movie, we wanted it to look like you were inside a comic book. But in this movie, Mike wanted it to look like you were inside of a watercolor illustration. These characters, they have painted outlines and watercolor textures on them. Figuring out how to get them to blend in with this very naturalistic painted environment was a real challenge. And it was more complicated than just sort of like splashing some watercolor paint on them.
All right, so
So we had to teach the computer to draw like a person.
Teach a computer to draw like a 17-year-old film student.
wait a minute. Isn't this whole movie supposed to be a giant?
And almost be like just like drawing hand in a way.
We just pushed everything on these guys to make them as sinister and evil and cool as we could. We really pushed the black sleekness and the chromatic aberration.
Pretty cool, right?
We wanted to find some kind of weird, abstract form of motion, and also because they are robots made by other robots.
We wanted the whole movie to feel like she was drawing on top of it, she was editing it, and the whole thing felt like it brought us into her perspective.
And it was really nice because it made you feel closer to her as a character.
Bring it in, buddy.
To illustrate Katie Vision further, I'm going to add it onto a shot that didn't originally have it. So this feels like it could have been a good opportunity to have done some Katie Vision. So I can kind of create a new layer, which is a frame, and then I can just draw directly on it. Maybe this drone, and knows it's going to be defeated. Maybe it'll be Nicolás! Maybe it looks really nervous.
The filmmakers had cracked the code on how a one-of-a-kind animated movie would look, but they still needed to figure out how the film would sound.
My name is Mark Mothersbaugh.
Devo co-founder, Rugrats theme songwriter, Lego movie composer, and all-around music legend.
Animation is the most demanding. You have such a high responsibility of bringing two-dimensional images to life.
We wouldn't want it to sound one-dimensional.
Definitely there were things that were much more challenging than before on a film.
And I wonder why that is.
My parents are both musicians, and that is unfortunately why I'm such a pain in the neck as a filmmaker.
Let me guess. He had an unreasonable request?
The aesthetic of I am dog. It's the way we co-evolved with Eric.
In showing a new kind of animated family, The Mitchells versus the Machines gave us a family that's actually, weirdly, pretty normal.
One of the wonderful things about the movie is this family, the Mitchells, are so specific to the family of the creator.
Put the phone down!
And yet everyone we've shown the movie to recognizes themselves. I think pretty much everybody here relates to Katie Mitchell.
I really feel like I'm somehow both Katie Mitchell and...
Here relates to Katie Mitchell.
I really feel like I'm somehow both Katie Mitchell and Rick Mitchell.
I'm probably most like Katie. And I, like Katie, had this sort of contentious relationship with my family a little bit. The most emotional moment for me, honestly, was just sort of seeing that my dad was really proud.
Don't hide your feelings, man.
But my dad, he's like, Rick, you know, he loves all of his kids and stuff, but he's like, I don't know. But now he's like asking me questions about animation.
Oh, he built that whole cabin with his own hands.
Something to remember the place by. Come on, man. Turn that off.
It's really nice having him understand the thing I've been doing for the past 10 years.
That's all I ever wanted.
How did you feel when you saw the final film?
The ending was very warm and fuzzy. I like that.
I was blown away because I had never heard that song before by Rihanna. And I was just like, oh my God, I just loved it.
I made eye water, just like you.
They're ending the movie in a much better place as a family than they were at the beginning of the film.
He starts the movie looking backward.
Yeah, better place as a family than they were at the beginning of the film.
He starts the movie looking backward.
Yeah.
And then he ends it looking forward.
I could watch it a zillion times. Not just because I'm in a picture at the end.
This movie is perfect for an entire family to watch at home together because it sort of hits all the boxes.
Hey, Dad, can you check the trunk?
Yeah, sure. What? Oh, nasty.
I love that these not Instagram ready people in this mess of a family with this bizarre dog who just genuinely love each other end up becoming the superheroes that save the world. I think that is just such a sweet reminder of what we're capable of.
When I watched it with my kids for the first time, I had to like kind of get up and like go get a drink just because.
The story of his very unreasonable family formed an
Important thing we have.
Families can be hard, but they're so worth fighting for. It might be one of the only things that are.
It's never going to be perfect, but you can always work on it.
And there you have it. One man's personal story of his very unreasonable obstacles to become one of the most universal animated family films of our time. Our time. Most universal animated family.
Made sounds of the Mitchells.
Dad had kind of a little bit of a country thing going with him, and the kids had